there's very little inside information when it comes to the future of Aaron Rodgers. I think he knows what he's going to do. And I think he's going to show up next week. And I think one of the reasons he's been coy about it is Mark Murphy, the CEO of the team, meets with shareholders / cheeseheads / fans of the team at Lambeau Field next Monday for the annual shareholder meeting. Why would Aaron Rodgers want to give all those fans a reason to exhale in their knowledge that Aaron Rodgers is showing up the very next day for the start of camp? Let Murphy sweat. I mean, ultimately, Murphy's the guy that Rodgers has a problem with. Brian Gutekunst is the name that surfaced early on once Rodgers let it be known that he wanted out. But Murphy's the guy who, number one, is the CEO, and number two, as of a few years ago, when Gutekunst became the GM and Mike McCarthy was still the coach, Murphy got more involved in the football operation. There's no way Murphy didn't sign off on the trade up to get Jordan Love. And I think at some level, Murphy tries to manipulate Aaron Rodgers. I think Murphy was happy about Tyler Dunn's story in early 2019, excuse me. I'm getting my ears a little bit screwy here, but it was 2019, the first year with Matt LaFleur. All the dirty laundry came out about McCarthy and Rodgers. And Murphy's attitude was basically, hey, if this pisses some people off, good. Maybe people will be more motivated to come out and have a big 2019 season. And they did. And then last year, the drafting of Jordan Love pissed off Aaron Rodgers. What happens? He's the MVP. Now the question is, what will they do when he shows up this year? And I still believe that Murphy would rather move on with Jordan Love. Murphy would rather Aaron Rodgers not show up. You know, if he doesn't show up, they avoid $14.9 million in salary, assuming he doesn't show up at all this year. They can collect $11.5 million in unearned signing bonus money, and there's another $6.8 million that's available in a roster bonus that he's earned, but they won't have to pay him. And you look at their balance sheets, they lost like $38 million last year. Well, they'll make back $35 million of it or thereabouts if Rodgers just doesn't show up. I think Murphy would prefer he doesn't. If he does, that could be the moment that the door opens for a potential trade, because it could be that psychologically the Packers at the top of the organization don't want to have the Aaron Rodgers farewell tour. Usually you see a farewell tour under circumstances where the guy's going to ride off into the sunset with a gold watch and he's not going to play for anybody else. And I know that we saw that a little bit differently with Brady 2 years ago, but with Tom Brady, no one really knew with certainty he was leaving the Patriots. It started to become a little more obvious as the season progressed, but it wasn't something that hovered so conspicuously over the franchise from the first day of camp. If Rodgers reports on the first day, that cloud is going to hang over Green Bay until the end of the season. This idea that he's done after this year. And yeah, hey, look, maybe they can push the buttons and pull the cords in a way that gets Aaron Rodgers sufficiently pissed off that he takes the Packers to the Super Bowl and wins it. But along the way, man, it's going to be a long year for Mark Murphy. It's going to be a long year for Brian Gutekunst. It's going to be a long year for Matt LaFleur, who's going to be caught in the middle between the lingering animosity. You know, if Aaron Rodgers shows up, it's not going to be like Russell Wilson in Seattle, who has completely slammed the door on the things that were bothering him back in February and March. He's been able to move on from it completely, and he's all in. And maybe he'll be all out again after this season, but for now, he's all in. I think when Rodgers shows up, he may try to say he's all in. He's not going to be all in. He's said too much. Too much has been reported. Too much has been discussed. He's not happy with the upper levels of the organization. That's not going to go away. He's going to be asked about it. He's going to talk about it. It's going to constantly be there. And that's why I think that in a weird sort of way, if he wants to be traded, showing up may be the first step toward getting the executive level of the organization to say, we think that it's in the best interest of the team to move on to Jordan Love. Look, Aaron Rodgers didn't show up for any of the offseason program. He skipped the mandatory minicamp. He's thinner than he needs to be. He hasn't worked out with any of his teammates in months. We got a guy who's been working and grinding and ready, and we believed in him enough to trade up in round one to get him in April of 2020. Let's go with him. So don't be shocked if he shows up, and showing up is the first domino in the path that results in Rodgers being traded to the Broncos at some point by the middle of August. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying that it's something that we need to pay attention to. Rodgers showing up for camp is not by any means the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, and it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving all year long, at least until he's traded. And if he's traded, then it takes on a new level altogether, with the new team becoming a focal point and the Packers becoming even more interesting to see what they can do without Rodgers on the field.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.